This program is brought to you by Pay Global.
Okay, so we still had a few glitches here and there, but we're getting there, and we definitely will get there. As I was saying, our first part of the show, we will our guest will review some of the topics that have made the headlines across the continent, and then after the news review, we will turn our attentions to our main topic of the day. Now, this is an interesting one. Okay, it's a simple question. The question is: life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end? I know a lot of people are probably assessing their life right about now, thinking, has it been good for me or no? Or am I still struggling, or am I in a better place? That's what we like to do here at Talk Africa. We like to pose questions that will provoke your thoughts. So as and when we start that discussion, you can bring your comments in. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us in the studio today. Let's start off today with topics that have made the headlines that have caught your eye. Ben, let me start with you.
Okay.
I think you wanted to touch on the Nivea issue with Fuse ODG.
Yeah, I think that was a critical issue. For those that don't know, Nivea had put up some banners, posters across Africa, sort of depicting that their products could lighten skin and you could get a better skin tone by using their products. And of course, that caused a lot of offense across Africa.
Yeah.
You know, we're comfortable in our own skin, etc., and we don't really need third parties telling us to lighten up. Skin lightening is a big issue anyway across Africa and the Caribbean. So, and Nivea, of course, have history in terms of quote unquote racism in their advertisement. So it was a big issue. But the interesting thing about it was the whole social media movement. So Fuse ODG, a well-known Afrobeat artist, started a movement, I believe, called #PullItDown. It went viral, and everyone started using the hashtag, tagging Nivea, tagging people involved, even the Ghanaian authorities and whatnot. And I think after about almost less than a week of pressure, Nivea decided to pull the poster down. So it was almost a victory for, mobilization, and it shows that if, not just Africans, but if people use their buying power, they can affect these major companies. Because I think, maybe to start with, when he first aired his grievance on social media, a lot of people might be thinking, this is not going to work. Well, he's airing his grievance, but they're not going to put it down. This is their product. Media. But, social media is a massive tool. And it went viral, worldwide, and people were plugging away.
Okay, now this is an interesting topic. I'd just like to remind our viewers and listeners that we're live on GNTV, on Freeview Vision TV. You can also watch us live on Facebook, GNTV UK. All you have to do is go on Facebook and click on our page, and also make sure you share so others can also listen to this program and also watch it. Or you can listen to us on GN Radio, on Sky Channel 0185, DAB across UK, Eurobed, and Astro TV across Europe. And also on TuneIn, GN Radio. You can listen to us. So there's no excuse, okay? So get involved. We'd like to hear your thoughts and comments. If you'd like to call the studio, the number to do so on is 0203 286 0185 or 0203 735 8820. Now, Ben, this issue here is a very interesting topic, but let me just ask Ben, before I come to you, I like to call you Kiki because, well, I know you personally. I host the show on DN Radio. I'll come to you, Kiki. Ben, excuse me, let me play a bit of a devil's advocate here.
Okay.
With the whole Nivea issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously it's a company, a huge company. They've realized there's a demand for such product.
Yeah.
So therefore, is it within every company's right to give, where there's demand, supply and demand? So what's the big issue about this whole thing?
I think, you're right. I think, supply and demand is key, obviously, for any company. You meet the demand, you supply to meet the demand.
Yes.
But I think it's how you communicate the message. And for me, they communicated really badly. And they should have been aware of the whole issue of skin lightening in Africa as a whole. I mean, to be fair, I think it would have caused offence amongst black community in the UK anyway. You've seen with the Dove advert as well.
Yeah.
So I think it would have come. I think a lot of black people are sensitive about the issue of skin lightening because, you know, in the past there's been this whole perception that lighter is better. You know, so I think when you're talking about colour, you've got to be very careful. You can sell your product, but how you communicate is very, very key. And I think they messed up. I think it's a really bit of a junior error, to be honest.
Right. Kendi, as I said to Ben, this is something that we all know goes on across the continent, across Africa. There's a lot of people who like to bleach their skin.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from, you know, somebody that sells these sort of products, you're just selling it to people that are out for such products. There's nothing wrong with that.
There is something wrong with it because, first of all, we're trying to move people away from the whole skin color issue. Skin color is becoming, it's even becoming political because why does a lighter skin make the dark person ugly even? Are you trying to say the darker skin is ugly? There is the other issue also is health. Lightening your skin is a big health issue at the moment, and there's cancer.
Is the onus on the provider or the consumer?
Well, it's both, because are you providing poison for somebody? Are you giving somebody something that is going to be harmful to them, and then you are selling it? They're marketing it. Now, there's a lot of false marketing. For example, people will tell you that mascara, a certain type of mascara, will make your eyelashes longer. That is not possible.
It's not possible?
No. However, it is advertised and, you know, but people are being taken to court because you are actually misleading them. And it's the same way. Unless they're putting something dangerous in the Nivea cream that is going to lighten people's skin, you should, and then it becomes a criminal offense. Because if all of these hydroquinone and all of these things are banned. Yeah. And they are the things that have the very strong effect of lightening somebody. Now, you know, so there are so many implications of this, which I don't think people have thought deeply about it when they were doing the marketing.
Exactly, yeah.
But then this poster didn't just appear. Yeah. It had been there for some time. Yeah. And this issue of skin bleaching has been going on, I think, even since I was born, it's been going on. Yeah. So therefore, isn't it a case where people, let's say, for instance, this happened in Ghana. Yeah. People in Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Kenya, Congo are not being educated on these issues or what the effect it could have on your skin if you tend to bleach your skin.
I think they are being they're being educated, but I think when you have a poster like that,
no, they're not being educated. They haven't been educated on the effect bleaching your skin can have.
Of course, yeah. I think in that sense, yes, there's a lot of people that are unaware of the harms and the effects of skin bleaching. But I think some people just believe that it's harmless. And with the Nivea thing, just to go back to what Kiki said, I think the key thing is about health. You're not necessarily sick, because Nivea's argument was that, look, we're not saying that you should lighten your skin, but it's just a communication perception saying, well, it's for lighter skin. But I think the key there is perception, because once you put that in people's mind, they then believe that's better. Yeah. That then may lead them to take not only Nivea but other substances that are bad, like you said. And technically, I believe the Ghana government has banned a number of the things. Well, supposedly have banned a number of the substances you said. But if you go to some of the markets, they're still there.
Yeah. Even here.
Yeah. So and like you said, education. If Nivea as a mainstream brand are saying lighter skin, you're teaching the young people, I want my skin light. Yeah. So they're just going to go for all the products in the stores that are banned, and they could have harmful effects. So it's more about perception. Do you know what I mean? If there was an equal footing, then people might not have had an issue. But you've gone online and said, like, skin lightening, this looks good. This is what we should be striving for in Africa, kind of.
Okay. Now, on our news review, if you want to get involved, you can send us a text message, and the number to do so on is 07932861328, 07932861328, or you can go on our Facebook page and you can leave a comment. Okay, Ben, so what's the other topic that you picked?
So a story that caught my eye this week was about a lady called Dossa Salah.
Yes.
And she's quite a well-known Egyptian TV presenter. And the reason why it caught my eye is because of late there's been sort of a lot of stories around the world regarding women, female empowerment, you know, the whole sexual assault thing that's going on in Hollywood and stuff. And I thought this was interesting because this is kind of going the other way. So in Egypt, which is quite a socially conservative country, this presenter sort of suggested that it's okay to have sex before marriage, and maybe you can just get married, have kids, and divorce again.
In Egypt.
Okay. And she said this on live TV. She also sort of insinuated that she was pregnant by putting like a stuffed thing, basically to illustrate her point. And she got sentenced to 3 years in jail for, I believe, the charge was outraging public decency. And I thought that was quite interesting just because, you know, like in the West now, you know, with all this stuff about sexual assault and people are getting taken, charges are being brought, you know, just by a lady suggesting that, you know, sex before marriage is a good idea. She's been sentenced to 3 years, and I think that's quite harsh. But it just goes to show, you know, the difference in culture, you know, around the world. I mean, obviously, Egypt being a social conservative country, they've taken the line that, you know, again, perception. You're a female presenter. You're well known. You have influence. So you may be influencing our young to have sex before marriage, and that's got her a 3-year sentence. So, you know.
Why is that big news to us? I'll ask this question because obviously we are in the West, and most of the Western views are quite liberal. Okay, so what I'm trying to get at is it such a huge thing if it's happening in Egypt, if it's their way of life? Why do we need to talk about it? I'm talking not just us, but the West. Because it seems everything the West tries to impose views on whatever's going on in other people's country.
No, I agree. I think that you know, the world is a massive place with billions of people, different cultures, and you know, not what's acceptable in one country is not necessarily going to be acceptable in the other. So that's their way of life. But I still think, for me, it was interesting because although I respect everyone's cultures, I still think that I believe in freedom of speech.
Right.
And I still think there's an element of liberty that you must have, regardless of your thing. And I think a 3-year sentence for saying that is pretty extreme, regardless of being social conservative or not. So that was my view. That's why I thought it would be pertinent to bring it up.
Okay. All right. Now, Candy.
Yes.
What stories caught your eye?
Stories are caught. But before I talk about my stories, I think coming back to the Egyptian story, I think in every country, in every society, we have social norms.
Yeah.
And Egypt is quite a strict country when it comes to those sort of things where people marry before they do such and such. So if she was being a renegade, there are implications to that. And I'm a woman, and I think people should have free choice, etc. But there is a thin line, though, between where you put your choices and how did she not know that.
Well, this is it. I mean, the interesting thing about it is she's quite a well-known presenter, and she's Egyptian by birth.
Yeah.
So surely she knows.
Yeah.
What the striking thing is, why did she say it then, kind of thing. That was the first thing that came to my head. Like on live TV, like she clearly, whether she didn't know the implications or she knew the implications, just didn't care. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think she was doing it to try to elevate women?
I think she was.
Recently, we just had, I think in Saudi Arabia now.
They can drive. They lift the ban, So
yes, but you see, with everything, as with women voting in this country, trying to get women to vote, it took a lot of time. And it took groups of women. It took a lot of lobbying.
Suffragettes.
It took the suffragettes, etc. So one woman is standing up. If you make those kind of things, it's putting your head above the parapet. It could be cut off.
But then for a change, I think such movements needs to happen because when it comes to inequality, especially in certain parts of the world, is really, really the way women are treated.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We live in a globalized world these days.
No,
so,
no.
Maybe it is about time. Maybe
yes.
come to the realization that these things do happen, and we need to talk about it.
No, it should, and she did. But I'm saying that there are implications, and even with the suffragettes, they were taken in and out of prison.
Yeah.
They were in Brixton prison for ages. So this is it.
Okay. All right, Kiki. So let's have your topics, please.
Yeah, my topic actually is just similar to yours, but in a very strange way. Museveni, who is the Ugandan president, his wife, Mrs. First Lady Museveni, she's also the Minister of Education, went to a school, and she was making a speech, and she said to them that she has 3 daughters, and they were all virgins before they got married. And therefore, now, I don't know, the message was there. She thinks that people should not use condoms or contraceptives or anything, but stay virgins before they got married. She felt that young people were, when you're very young, they were dying in childbirth because the bodies weren't formed well enough to go through the whole rigors of pregnancy and childbirth, which is all true. But I think to make a big deal about her daughters being virgins, was she there all the time? Did she know what they were up to? I mean, is it necessary to bring your personal life into your political and, because, the whole world is trying to separate politics, personal, this and that and everything else, and you're bringing all of this in. Are you sure they're virgins? Was there evidence? Why are you talking about it?
In the case of using contraceptive, well, she said, if I can quote her, she said, the use of contraceptives is not our culture. We no longer have pride to say no. People are given contraceptives to use them and do what they want. Get involved in sexual relationship, take pills, conceive and abort. This is not our culture in Africa.
I think that's a very I'm trying to find a word to use for it's a very dangerous and too open. What do you mean in Africa? And contraceptives are necessary because we're talking about HIV and all of these things which you do not know, you cannot control, you don't know what your children do. So if there are ways in which you can keep them healthy and not, from all of these dangerous flesh-eating diseases, etc., HIV.
So she should concentrate more. There's more important stuff to concentrate.
Yeah, I mean, she should concentrate. She's an educationist, a minister. You can talk about, to stop. What are you talking about? Children are dying because they're not ready to have children, and yet they should not give them contraceptives. I do not understand that.
Yeah.
She also spoke about rape, Ben. She said, please, parents, and I quote her, stop asking for money to settle rape or defilement cases. The parent is the biggest stakeholder in a development of the girl or child, she said. Surely, it is positive. I mean, with regards to social media and everything, when you go on social media today, you can see all the stuff that's out there. So having the First Lady come to talk to young women like this surely is in a positive light.
Yeah, it is what she's saying on the surface is positive. But I kind of agree with Kiki in the sense of like the whole virgin thing, bringing that up. I think for me that's for me is like kind of like a badge of honor, like an old school thing, like because a lot of the time, it's kind of like the abstinence thing, that's what they preach in Africa. So look, my kids, they stayed pure kind of thing. If you're gonna talk about sex and the dangers of sex or whatever, just talk about it. I don't see why you have to. And for who knows? Kids, kids would be kids. You think they're virgins,
but
you hope they're virgins, then you may not be. So
the issue regarding the rape issue, it's a big thing for me because in Ghana as well, a young child of 4 was raped. And all of that. That's horrible. And so parents, it is the duty of parents to keep an eye on the children. But are you taking money instead of getting the person into court and being imprisoned, punished properly? We need to have definite ways of punishing these people so that a deterrent, really, to stop them from all of this.
All right,
it's
and
ridiculous.
What's your next? That was the next story that caught your eye.
The interesting thing for me last night when I was researching this was banning caning in South Africa. South Africa has decided to ban caning, and it's a recent court ruling in South Africa that, you know, all ages were discussed and children should not be smacked.
Yeah.
Now, it's more of children should not be smacked at school and at home. So parents, if you smack your child, you will be hauled into court.
Yeah.
And I think we really should be careful how
for assault.
For assaulting your child. Now, some people do smack their children, but not in a way to kill them. And then also there is the man who may beat the child and, you know, he puts them into hospital, etc. So we have to be careful how, you know, we look at this. But children are being abused and assaulted in the home, and we don't actually look at it because it's a home issue. And so there's that side of it. But
let me ask you personally, I guess you were smacked at some point.
I was, very much so.
Anything wrong to you?
No, it taught me, you know, but I wasn't smacked to be beaten to be hurt, you know what I mean? But even the threat of smacking. And I'm a mother, I smacked both my boys, and they've grown up, and they're very nice boys now.
It's a thin line, isn't it?
Yeah, but there is a thin line.
A number of countries, including the UK here, Canada, Australia, China, Nigeria, still allow corporal punishment in some settings.
Yeah.
So surely, you know, like old saying go, do not, what's the saying? I think it's
spare the rod and spoil the child.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. I think discipline, like, I mean, I was smacked as a kid. I turned out okay. It's you know, it shows you there's a balance. There's, you know, there's a standard, and if you fall below that standard, there's repercussions. You know what I mean? It's not like, obviously there's abuse. We all know what abuse is. But it's a fine line. I kind of understand why they've gone for it, but I think when you're raising kids, especially in this society as well, you know, the discipline's a must. You need discipline, like.
Zimbabwe has also banned the smacking of children, you know, so it's a thing that is coming up all the time, and it's really good. It's good that children are being looked at and their issues are being discussed, but we really should be careful how we're treating it.
Okay, so if it gets banned across the continent, there's also certain ways in which I think kids can be punished. Discipline.
Yeah.
But it seems when it comes to Africa, we tend to go to the extreme. I mean, I remember my times when I was in school in Ghana being caned, okay? I would call it some form of abuse. If I wasn't being caned, the punishment on one foot, one finger, that in itself is abuse.
Yeah. I think when we copy Africa, what the problem with us is we copy the Western world in some of their things, and when they've moved away from it, we're now going even overboard with it. And, you know, why were children caned? The good thing, I didn't experience that, but I think if I did, it would have thrown me into a ditch of madness or something.
Okay, let's bring life here in the UK into it.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of talks when you go to certain homes where kids that are raised here or born and raised here compared to kids that are born and raised in Ghana. There's a huge difference.
Oh, yes, there is.
Being disciplined.
Yeah.
And that is key.
Yeah.
In Ghana, you're told a child is to be quiet and listen. You're supposed to be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
Here is the other way
Opposite,
around.
Yeah.
Opposite.
Yeah.
But then people will say, if a kid is acting naughty here, send him to Ghana. Yeah. So are we saying the way we're brought up in Ghana is better than the way we're brought up here?
Well, you see, here, you can negotiate. Children are smacked here in their homes. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, they are. They are smacked here. They are disciplined here. But then, you see, with the laws and all of that, some people kind of just leave their children to be feral. It's very dangerous for children not to have discipline.
Yeah.
because discipline is the mainstay of our lives. That is how we know, even just getting up and going to work, how you dress is all a kind of a discipline which you have gone through with school uniforms, etc. So there is a thin line, and with everything there is a thin line. If you go overboard, you overdone it, and it's bad. But we have to keep things into, I don't know how to describe it. It's so early in the morning.
All right. I think this is my cue to go on a break. When we come back, we'll turn our attentions to our main topic of the day. As I said earlier on, the main topic of the day is life in the UK for Africans. Is it opportunity or dead end? Start writing, start thinking, and also make sure you call in so that we can hear from you. We want to hear your experiences, okay? Some people have been here for the past 50, 60 plus years. Some people have been here for 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, or even if you were born here. We'd like to hear from you. We're taking a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. We'll be right back.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step 1 and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Doing something illegal in there?
No.
What? Your lesbian fixation?
Huh?
You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight. So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens up.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to 2 women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind, so man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
E-News Redefined. Wondering what's going on in the life of your favorite entertainment personality? Wonder no more, because the Daily Setbit has got you covered with the latest in entertainment news, gossip, fact, rumors, and of course, some sizzling interviews.
Not just that, did you know actor Jimmy Fox's real name is Eric Malone Bishop? I bet you did you know. On the Did You Know segment, we bring you some mind-boggling facts you might not know about your favorite celebrity.
We don't only set the trend with our stories, we bring you trendy videos and images that have gone viral on social media. Your entertainment just got better.
Come back to Talk Africa, the show that's designed to bring you closer to home by discussing all issues pertaining to Africa. I'm joined in the studio today with Ben Enim Entry. Ben Enim Entry is Director of Communications for Mifri Ghana, and also Candy Kise, who's a social commentator and also a radio talk host here at GN. Make sure you listen to her show, okay? It's very interesting on Wednesdays. Right then, let's move on to our main topic of the day. Where do I even start? I mean, when I posed this question, it got me thinking. I started myself to assess my life since I came here in the UK. Has things been going well for me? Okay, now from the 1940s right through to the 50s, 60s, and the 80s of the Caribbeans and the Africans coming here, the first generation. And I think we're probably, some of us are the second and third generation. Mm-hmm. If we look at our lives here as Africans, is it opportunity or a dead end? I would like to hear your thoughts and comments. You can comment on our Facebook or you can call into the studio. The number to do so is 0203-286-0185 or 0203-735-8820. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-1328. To kickstart this segment, I've got on the phone Martin Ade Bakari, who's a lawyer by profession and also the leader of the Nigerian Association here in the UK in London. Let's speak to Martin. Hello, good morning, Martin.
Good morning to you.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, Martin.
Can you hear me? Good morning. Yep.
Glad we can hear you, Martin. Martin, as I said earlier, life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end?
I would say both, my brother. In the past, when Africans come to the UK or abroad, they come here as students. And as soon as they finish their education, they return back home to take up jobs, to start working immediately. But that has evaporated, and there's nothing like that anymore. So that is the opportunity we had then. Nowadays, when people come here, they study, there's no job back home because of the system and the type of government we have in Africa. And as a result of that, they are stuck here. And that is the unfortunate aspect of our lives as Africans in abroad.
Okay, well, you're saying because of the lack of structure back home for people to take what they've learned here back home. I'll also put this question to you. I don't know if you don't mind me asking, are you first generation, second generation, or third generation?
Yeah, please, the line is failing. Can you repeat the question, please?
I'm trying to ask you is how long have you been in this country?
Thank you. I've been here for about 17 years, but my case is different because I go home every year. The problem is that when you go home, the structure, the system back home is not good at all.
Well, Michael, Martin, as a profession, you are a lawyer by profession. So in that sense, would you say your life in the UK, you've been successful?
Well, let's say averagely, because you will find discrimination everywhere. If you're a lawyer and you do your job very well, at the same time, you find it difficult sometimes when you go stand in front of the judges, different types of judges in the country, and you notice that your case is going nowhere. And that's what I would say. But if you are back home, there's no job opportunity, nothing like that. And you find out that it is due to corruption back home of the type of leaders we have. But still yet, I would say successful in a way. But nobody likes to be in the cold. It's cold in Africa. Africa is sunshine. You can move around as much as you wish. But then we have bad leadership in Africa.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much for talking to us. It's a pleasure for you to wake up early this morning to come on air to talk to us. Thank you very much. That was Martin Ade-Bakari. Martin Ade-Bakari is is a lawyer by profession, also the leader of Nigerian Association here in the UK. Now, let me come into the studio. Let's discuss this issue. But before we do that, let me just remind viewers and listeners, okay, you can call into our discussion. If you want to call in, it's 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to text us, it's 0793-286-1328. Also, don't forget, we're streaming live on Facebook, okay? Go on our Facebook page, GNTV UK, and you can also leave a comment on there. Let me come to you, Candy, first. Life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end?
It could be both. I mean, there's a lot of...
So you agree with Martin? I think Martin was looking at it from a political stance.
Yeah, it is political. Everything is political. Buying a loaf of bread, it can be political. However, it could be both. I agree with all the points he made, because there are some people who say that when they came here to study, by the time they go back, their friends are in top jobs and they're not. At the same time, you could have a decent, if you're educated and, depending on where you are in the food chain, you could have a good job here in the UK or in the Western world, basically, and you could be doing well. You have a steady job, your children are in schools, etc., etc. Now, if you went back, or if you haven't left and you're in the system, if you don't know the right people, even if you're educated, you could not get the sort of jobs that could give you just a basic living. And it's always a hustle. People are always kind of struggling along all the time. And that is also something that the picture when you are in Africa is how rosy the Western world is, yes. You see. So people want to get away from it. And that's also one of the problems. And then you come, and if you're not educated enough, if you haven't got the correct accent, you can't communicate properly, etc., etc., and then you are in a worse situation than you were. And then, of course, the cold.
Okay. All right. I'll come to Ben. I know Ben is itching to get his views on this. But before I come to you, Ben, on our social media, our Facebook page, we got Pokua saying, we are not comfortable. I think this is relating to the Nivea issue with Fuse ODG. Okay. We are not comfortable in your color, but we are the main color that only full human in harmony with the universe, with the sun, and other the melanin of God. Okay, black and white are not human color, but a philosophy put in place. Okay, you can also share your thoughts and comments. Okay, go on our Facebook page. You can watch the live stream on GNTV UK. Now, Ben, with regards to the issue of life in the UK for Africans, I mean, you work with a lot of young entrepreneurs, young professionals. So, from your angle, it's opportunity, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say there's opportunity there, but I also agree that, I mean, it depends that how you're looking at it, because from the conversation that was said by the leader of the Nigerian Association, was it, and Kiki, it's different generations. So like some of the generations that came in from Africa to the UK, they may have not leveraged the opportunities that were given to them. Like a lot of the time they may have gone to like sort of like clerical jobs or just to get money, rather than actually maybe studying for something just to see it later in life. Because like Kiki says, the perception is that it's the land of milk and honey here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people, when they came here, the first thing in their head was that I just need to get money, rather than maybe building a career, maybe doing some courses and doing some studying. So then later on you get the qualifications where you can actually get a job. You understand? So interesting for me, I say we work with a lot of young people that are born in the UK, but we advocate for people to go back to Africa. So it's the other way around. We tend to advocate to say, look, use your skills to help develop your country of origin. as opposed to, you know, you're in the UK, you've been afforded some opportunity, so go back. Do you know what I mean? But just, you know, there's opportunity. There's opportunity here, no doubt, but you've got to be smart about it as well. And I think a lot of people that in Africa that are coming here thinking, oh, you know, it's the land of opportunity. It may be a dead end for you if you're not smart about it. You can't just come here and expect to, because even now the job market is difficult for homegrown graduates here. It's very difficult to get a job. So if you don't research where you want to go and what you want to do, you know, you could end up in a far worse situation than you were back in Africa.
Let me share something with you guys. My cousin went to Ghana. Okay, I think this was for a funeral.
Yeah.
And then he met some of his peers who he hasn't seen for a long time. So, you know, as you do, having the chat, talking, and they're asking, so what is it like over in the UK? And my cousin said, listen, it's very, very difficult out there. His friend's response was, but when you came here, you didn't buy a one-way ticket, you bought a return. So things can't be that difficult up there. But let me come to you, Candy. Would you say the first generation have failed the second generation?
In what way?
In terms of trying to build something for the next generation. Because I think most Africans, when we come here, I think Ben has already said it, the mindset was to come here, make a bit of money, and take it home. Come here, work, and then build a house in wherever they're coming from, wherever country they're coming from. Whereas if they invested here, surely it will give the next generation coming a stepping stool for them to achieve something more in the UK.
I think it's very complicated to be an African, I'm telling you. It's totally different. And I, born here, but then, you know, had the benefit of being in school in Africa and coming back, I can see that when you are an African, you have so much responsibility when you are here. You have things to do. You kind of think, well, yeah, you know, these people don't accept me 100%. I know where I'm from. I'm going to go back soon. And soon becomes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you're still working. It doesn't have to be drudgery. It's not necessarily drudgery. But it's just, you know, time comes upon you. At the same time, you think, okay, then if that's the case, retirement, I'm going to go. So, but in this time, you've had kids, they're growing in the system. There's this confusion. The interesting thing, though, is the generation now, this is the young, between the ages of, let's say, 18, 19, and up to 30, 35. They've suddenly realized they have some pride of being African. They know where they're from. They're curious to see what the story is. They want to go back. We now have Afrobeat parties where children know, you know, if you're a Niger, you know, in fact, it's across the board. It doesn't matter which part of Africa you're from, you're singing all the songs, etc. I see pride in an African these days, which we did not see before. Before, people were bullied. You had to change your name. If you were called Adewale, you say, oh, what's your name? Ade.
Shorten
it. You know, and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I think with awareness and a little bit more teaching and us speaking to our children, because if you watch the Asians, they all speak their language with their kids.
You've touched on the Asians, and you're saying that you think that Africans have a lot. There's a lot going on as an African if you're in this country. But then we look at the Asians and what they do when they come here. You can see in terms of social cohesion, they're always together. They help one another.
Yeah.
In terms of, when I asked that question, if the first generation failed us, I mean, what's the biggest commodity here in the UK? Properties, isn't it?
Yeah.
You tend to find out that the Asians, when they come here, that is one of their first venture that they go for.
I think I understand where you're coming from. I think the saying they failed us is a little harsh. It's a little harsh because I used to kind of think that as well. Because even in terms of the language, my parents never spoke to me in Tree, and I blamed them. I said it's your fault. Like, you failed us, but you have to realize the climate was different then.
Yes.
Much difficult.
You know, different in the sense of mentality and where you wanted to go. You understand? So like Kiki was saying, a lot of people England was just a stop.
Yeah.
It wasn't. We're not gonna say. Maybe the Indians were looking at maybe like a 50-year plan. Like, we're really gonna take over, because they did really. Look, if you go up and down the UK, corner shop was all Asian. So they were looking like, the Africans are maybe looking like, this is 5 years and I'm going back to Africa. But then 5 years became 10 years. It was more bad planning as opposed to, failing them. I definitely think that they could have planned better. Like you said, they could have invested in properties. Like I said, instead of just going in for a job to get a few quid here and there, they could have actually studied and became more career-minded. But I think the mentality was different, because they were thinking like, they were proud in the sense of like, this is just a stop. I'm proud to be African. I'm going back. Yeah. But it just didn't work out like that.
It just never got there.
But the Asians were like, maybe they were more forward thinking. They were thinking, you know what? I'm proud to be Indian, but I'm going to make this my little India.
Yeah.
Okay.
For 50 years at there, do you know what I mean? And I think maybe if we had that mentality, we would have been in a better position.
All right,
but
interesting views. I would like to hear your thoughts and comments as well. You can call in, you can send a text, you can go on Facebook and leave a comment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will talk more on this subject. We'll be right back.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step one and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Next time, not joke with no nuts family. I am it. I feel that.
Foreigners are in deciding for us, what to do when it comes to our music. This is just so not cool.
Charlie, just forget them. If you're not ready to pay our artist like $30,000 or $90,000, then where are we going?
Talent get case. You go see one kid you can't stay top. He do small acrobatics here and there, or people they clap. Why this kid get talent? How?
Instead of beefing each other, Ghanaian artists can actually join hands together and promote themselves internationally.
Are you doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight.
So what do we do now? We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to two women.
You know, sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
Back to Talk Africa. My name is Jones Awuah. I'm joined in the studio by Ben Enim Aintree and also Candy Kisei. Now we have Nick Mangwana on the phone. Nick Mangwana is a political analyst. And also from Zimbabwe, it would be good to hear his thoughts on what we're discussing right now. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, John. How are you doing, man?
It's good to have you on the phone, Nick. The question we've posed to our listeners and viewers this morning is life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end, Nick?
I think we have to look at why Africans come to the UK. The primary reason is to look for opportunities and to provide better opportunities for their children. We got people perishing in the Mediterranean trying to cross over through Libya to come to Europe, and particularly the United Kingdom and Italy. Again, it's for opportunities. The question comes to when they get to the UK, do they get opportunities or do they come to a dead end? I think in the whole, if you look at diaspora remittances, which go back to Africa, I would say it's opportunities. If you see black Africans climbing up the ladder of the British society, you would believe it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity that comes at a price, of course, identity and other things. But I think when you look at the broad picture, it's an opportunity.
Okay, as you were talking, my guest in the studio, Candy, was kind of shaking her head. You wanted to make a comment, Candy?
Well, in a way, yes, it's an opportunity, but you could get here and enter into a dead end. Now, all the people who are coming from Tunisia, through Tunisia, into the UK and Italy, etc., they do hit dead ends sometimes. There are people here already who are maybe getting the opportunity and making use of it, and maybe their children are getting stronger and stronger, and so it will go with the generations. However, we have Africa to rebuild, and there are some people who've been here and think that it's better to go back and be not a second-class citizen, but, to be an upright, happy person. All the problems that we have here are halved the minute you are comfortable in your own skin. If you are in Africa, you have your own house, you may not have a mortgage, etc., etc. There are so many issues here. But it is what an individual really wants at the end of the day.
Okay. Let's hear what Nick has to say.
You see, we're going to look at this globally, I think. What does the African Union, because we are talking from a Pan-Africanist point of view, what does the African Union say about the diaspora? Now, I'm kind of broadening. I'm talking about the diaspora instead of being of the UK in particular. But most of the things that affect those in the UK affect almost every diaspora that goes out to the West. Now, if you look at that, the African Union acknowledge that the diaspora is the sixth region of Africa. So the fifth region of Africa. That acknowledgement, it has said that the African Union should harness that resource for development of Africa. And it defines its diaspora as anybody of African heritage who has got an interest in the development of Africa. So, as an institution, the African Union views the African diaspora as an opportunity. Be they in America or wherever, or in the United Kingdom. So, if globally, when you look at our own African institutions, seeing the diaspora as an opportunity, it means the diaspora or the African who is in the United Kingdom should have had opportunities for them to provide opportunities back to the motherland.
Nick, if I can understand what you're saying, are you saying Africans in the diaspora should go back to the motherland?
Should help develop the motherland. You don't need to go back as such. Yes, going back is helpful because the way you learn, another opportunity is what we learn. You learn by being exposed to a certain way of doing things. You don't transpose what you have learned as it is and take it to Africa, but what you have learned, you can take it and adapt it to suit our own context in Africa. So that again is an opportunity. But we also can develop Africa in different means by technology and everything else that's we get exposed to, which is positive, of course. So again, when you look at that, kind of back to our original question, it is an opportunity.
Okay. Nick, thank you very much for talking to us this morning. Nick Magwana is a political analyst from Zimbabwe. I think we'll probably get Nick in the studio at some point next week. Thank you for your contribution, Nick. Now, Ben, listening to Nick, I think Nick kind of shares your views. I mean, with Mifri Ghana, you encourage young Ghanaians in the diaspora to go back to use what they've learned to help build the nation or the continent.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I struggle to hear a lot of what he said. I got the last bit in terms of when he's talking about going back to aid development. And yeah, that's a crucial thing. I think that people should be doing it. Where I agree with him again is when he said that, the main objective for people to come into UK in the first place is the opportunity. So they're actually looking for opportunity. But it's how you leverage that. Like I said, for the most part, yes, opportunity is here, but people do hit dead ends if they don't plan effectively. Because let's just say, you've got a job and you're renting, you're renting for like 30 years. Are you any better off in the UK than you were in Africa? Do you know what I mean? So you have to be, and I think what we kind of preach at Mifri Ghana, Future of Ghana, is mobilization and unity. Because when you're talking about development, you need mobilization. It's not just one person, you understand? And this is where maybe other cultures succeed more, because like we were talking earlier with the Asians, they come together. There's a unified thing. They may even have public meetings. If somebody wants to open a shop, somebody will raise funding here because they know it will benefit their community. Yeah. So I think sometimes when people come here, it's kind of a mentality of an individualistic mentality. I'm just going to get mine. But if we're doing that, then everybody's just getting theirs and going back. No one's actually, you're not going to contribute to the development because you haven't got an inclusive mindset whereby we can all unite behind a particular problem or one issue and say, how can we all use our skills to effectively help develop it? So you have to be very strategic. If you're talking about developing a country, you need unity, you need mobilization. It's not just, let me come and chop and then, I'll go and sit down.
Okay, let me take a few text messages. I think we've touched on this. This is from Georgina. She said, brain drain, glass ceiling. Many Africans have qualifications but find themselves doing odd jobs, manual laborers. Okay, keep your comments coming in. Let me take this one from Romeo. Romeo said, not always opportunity and not always dead end, okay? If it's for educational purposes, it becomes an opportunity to study among different people of the world and other great opportunities, but it's become a dead end when you have to suffer in someone's country. You're jobless, cannot go places due to your illegal stay in the UK, etc. Apart from educational purposes, if it is visit to the UK for business purpose as well, it is opportunity. Okay, so now let's look at it from this point of view, Candy. If somebody across the continent, as you alluded to earlier on, what the sea is on the streets is paying with gold and what have you not, and they want to come to the UK, whatever you tell them, like I said again, the story that I said, that's not what they want to listen. So would you advise someone to come here, somebody who wants to better their life? Would you advise them to come here?
Well, I think at the moment, in my country, Ghana, I don't know much about other countries in Africa, but in Ghana and possibly Nigeria, say.
We all have the same, we go through the same challenges.
Yeah, we're going through the same challenges. But I think there's opportunity for people because now, you see, to the mindset of being educated to go and work for someone is slowly eroding. So if you are being educated to do something to contribute to yourself and the country at large, there are opportunities. And that's the thing. People are beginning to realize that we can do X and Y. I know these days a few young people who are doing well. And I was reading a business magazine just a few days ago about Malawi, where this guy, I can't remember his name, Kingsley, somebody, was becoming a millionaire. I've heard about this young boy who set up the windmill that is, giving energy in one of the African countries. So I think people are waking up to the fact that you can be in your country and do well. And also the fact that if you have money and you're doing well, as somebody said in the text just now, you can travel. You can go abroad and see what the life is. I remember years ago when people wanted to come abroad, one of my uncles said if he was a very rich man, he would put all the young people who wanted to come abroad and drop them here in the UK just for them to see the struggle, because it is not as they think it is. But they will never believe it unless they have the experience.
Okay, let me take this message from Benjamin. Benjamin is saying, I believe it's a dead end for all color, mainly black people, because this is a government, white government royal country that have benefited and living off African wealth. They've been taking resources from Africa, African countries. With EU, European, Caucasian, the white people, government support these this system. I think it's a dead end if you're African, if you're black, if you're from the Caribbean. Okay, that was from Benjamin. Keep your thoughts and comments coming in. I will do our best to read as many as possible. The question we're posing today is, if you just walked in, or if you just switched on your TV set or your radio, or you're listening to us, you're watching us live on Facebook, the question we're asking today is this: is life in the UK for Africans opportunity or a dead end? Don't forget to comment. Now, Ben, you did touch on how you try to encourage the young professionals to go back and help to rebuild the nation. Like you said earlier, we're trying to come here, and you're encouraging them to go back. Now, what are some of the experiences, the challenges or experiences that they've encountered when they've gone back?
Are you talking about second generation?
Second generation.
Sometimes it's just the lack of terrain, lack of the knowledge of the terrain of how things work out there, because things are slightly different. As I think Kiki alluded to, there's a lot of innovation going on now in Africa, and in particular Ghana and Nigeria. A lot of entrepreneurship. People are starting to build their own businesses, and they're not even interested. Like some of the pioneers that we showcase that are based in Ghana, if you ask them if they want to come to the UK, the answer is no, because they've got their own business. They've got their own farming business. They've got their own energy company. They want to travel different countries and come back to Ghana, learn some skills and knowledge about how, farming works in maybe Europe, and then bring it back to Africa. So they're not really interested, because the innovation's there. So it's a lot of what it is about changing the mindset behind, wanting to come to somebody else's country. Because yes, there's opportunity here, but just going back to the question you posed to Kiki about would I advise someone, I'd first ask them, well, what is your end goal? It's not just about let me come here to enjoy, because it can be a dead end if you don't have the relevant visa and there's certain issues, then it can be a struggle for you. So what is your end goal? You know what I mean? And that's the question that you need to ask yourself. But yeah, I mean, we want to see eventually where people from Europe want to come to Africa. We want the tables to be turned when people are not even thinking about leaving Ghana or Africa to come to the UK, where the opportunities are there. But it starts with people actually staying in their country to build it up. Do you know what I mean? Because, like you said, the diaspora could play a big part in the development, and that's what we try to leverage. But, like we said, 5 years can become 10 years, and then the longer you stay, people get comfortable, and, they feel that, in the end that they're maybe not contributing. So it's about now saying, look, especially about the young people in Ghana, especially, and responsibility lies with the government to create and facilitate the conditions so young people can thrive and actually with all this innovation going on, feel like they can actually succeed in the country that they're in.
Another text message from Michael saying there are opportunities to study and get better paid jobs. If you compare salaries in the UK to back home, then it's a great opportunity here. I think we can all agree that in terms of education, it's a good opportunity. However, when it comes to jobs, it's difficult because even, I think you mentioned it, for young people, not just young people, I mean, people trying to study this, that the way the system is, even the postcode that you're living at in itself is makes things difficult for you to get on whatever it is that you want to get to. Okay, now, again, you can listen to us live on GN Radio, which is on Sky Channel 0185, DAB across UK, Eurobed and Astro TV across Europe, and also on TuneIn. Don't forget we're streaming live on Facebook as well. It's GNTV UK. Go on our Facebook page, and also you can leave your comments and thoughts there. Okay, let me take another message from Kwame. Kwame is saying, great show, guys. Good submissions. I think the second generation have failed us. I have a friend who's Chinese, an Indian.
What does he mean first?
I think first generation have failed us. I have a friend who's Chinese. I have an Indian friend, and also a friend who's white. And all my friends, their parents provided them with some sort of capital as they started their journey. Okay, I think I get what he's trying to say. And I think that's a fundamental point as well, but I think we more or less touched upon it. Our parents really did come here. We cannot fault them. Maybe, like you said, it's harsh to say they failed us because we must not forget they did work hard to give us that opportunity. So
I think it's more of, you see, we come from a country of humility. We kind of are quite humble. And when you come here, that generation, they just, as you said, they just take the jobs that's there. They may be overqualified, but they'll just take it.
There's not that go-getter. It's just I'll accept.
And they say that, if you're Ghanaian, you're respectful, you are, blah, blah, blah.
All right, just hold on to that thought for me. I know we have a caller on the line. Just hold on for us. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, we will take your comments and your thoughts, and we'll carry on the discussion. It's Talk Africa on GNTV. We'll be right back.
Beloved, God created man with the dust of the earth. God breathed the breath of life into mankind, so man became a living soul. It is therefore empirical to know and to understand that the earthly cannot survive without the heavenly. Faith today is designed to bring men and women of God from across the world to discuss developmental issues and current affairs backed by the scriptures and the gospels. This will enable us to have a better Ghana and a better world to live in. My name is Apostle Owahin Omaria Champon. I'm going to be your regular host. Remember, the light of God will shine. Don't miss it.
Doing something illegal in there?
No. What? Your lesbian fixation? Huh? You call that a lesbian fixation? It is happening live. I am just coming from their room.
Rama, this cannot continue. We cannot continue hiding our true feelings.
Hey, why are you locking the door?
He who carries the load knows his weight. So what do we do now?
We bang on the door till she opens it.
What the hell is going on?
We just came out of that room and what we saw there didn't even come close to two women.
Sometimes the trap doesn't catch the prey you set it for.
Why Solombi? These girls are becoming troublesome.
Are we supposed to tell our clients to wait so we go buy shampoo? We deliver to our clients irrespective of our challenges.
I shall be back. You won't get rid of me so easily.
I love social media. I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones, and with my studio guest, Benjamin Enim Entry, and also Candy Kise, who also hosts the show on GN Radio, Kiki Talk Show on Wednesdays.
Very, very 9 o'clock.
Yes. Viewers and listeners, again, you can call in. We had a couple of callers online, but I think unfortunately they've gone. We went on an ad break. You can call in, okay? Do call in. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear your experiences. The number to call on is 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-1328. The question we're posing today is: life in the UK for Africans is opportunity or dead end? It's very simple, okay? Very, very simple. I know a lot of people listening to us right about now are thinking about it. Okay, let's hear your thoughts. Again, you can watch us live on Facebook on GNTV UK. Go on our Facebook page. Click on our Facebook page. Watch us. You can watch the live stream. Leave your comments there as well. And also, we're on Vision TV on Freeview. And on GN Radio, Sky Channel 0185, DAB across UK, Eurobed and Astra TV across Europe. I think my caller is back. Let's hear what our caller has got to say this morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Fred, calling from Bournemouth.
Hi, Fred. What would you like to say this morning? Life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end?
Both. It's not 100% opportunity, it's not 100% dead end. It's both. Simply because depending which class of the generation you belong to. If you take the generation of those who travel from Africa to this place, I'm referring to those who are not born here, those whom the parents didn't bring them, but they rather struggle themselves to come in here. We have two things here. Even to get a paper to live in this country is one factor. Before you can start everything, irrespective of your situation. If you want to go to school, you need to get the document down first before you can start schooling in UK. Now, personally, I have a friend whom I came here with around the same time, early 2000. He had that opportunity to get his paperwork as early as possible, and he managed himself to go to school. It took me a whole lot, almost more than 10 years, before I get mine sorted. Now, if you compare me and that person, he's more advanced at the moment, more than I do. I'm a van driver to do all sorts of things to bring my kids up. And the life over here is very, very tough. To bring children up, to pay the bills, besides that, you still have a responsibility back home because my mom is there, my dad is there, and other siblings, whom I have to turn around and care for all these people. So I believe a time has come, as the Zimbabwean man said, we need to go back home to try and teach what we have learned or what we have acquired here to develop the continent, rather than to go a whole lot of circles and think of, oh, we can do this, we can do that. As one of your panelists said, by the time you get realized, 5 years is gone, 10 years is gone, over and over. So a time has come that we need to sacrifice to go down there. Whatever, irrespective of the field that all one belongs to, we have to go down there and implement it. It's not going to be easy. It's not a day job. Probably as people will be thinking of, oh, okay, it's all right, is this, is that. No.
Fred, let me ask you. So what would you did mention you've got family here. What would you say to your children? Would you advise your children to go back as well to help build? or should they try and build something here, make something of themselves here in this country?
Well. Again, over here, yes, once the children has brought up here, this their land. And personally, I also belong to a different place. But the distinction that you can make between here and back home is that there's opportunities. A lot of opportunities are here for the kids that are being brought up in this country. But unfortunately, alongside the line, we have a whole lot of problems. I mean, look at the black communities. Now, we cannot talk about, let me put this one this way. White man cannot talk more about how we, the blacks, are killing each other. That's why we step in, it becomes something else. But personally, the parents and other bodies, I'm talking about the black communities, need to help. They have to step up to help our own people just to grow up, just like what the Asians have done to their own people. Because the language is very welcome. Now, Africans, we are very even shy to teach our children our own languages. If you go to hospitals, from immigration to probably cleaning, alongside everywhere you meet Asian, they make sure that they teach their children their language. Over here, it's not like that. I'm talking about the Africans.
Okay.
So it's quite very difficult.
I've given you enough time. You made your point. Thank you very much for calling in, Fred. You can also do so by calling on 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to text us, it's 0793-286-1328 or go on our Facebook page. We're streaming live on our Facebook page. We're also on Vision TV on Freeview. And GN Radio, Sky Channel 0185. So, as I said before, there's no excuse. Get involved. We have to talk about our continent ourselves. Now, let's bring it down to on the level of parenting, raising the family here in the UK. I think Fred cannot touched on the knife and gun culture here. I mean, a lot of Ghanaians, not just Ghanaians, Africans, when it comes to this black on black crime, tend to commit these offenses. Okay, so in one way, when I asked Fred, what would he do? Would he advise his children to go back or build something here? He was caught in a bit of a dilemma. I'll come to you. Let's take our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Mr. Ite.
Mr. Ite, life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end, Mr. Ite?
I think it depends on where you stand on the spectrum and also your class from where you are when you're coming from Ghana or Africa. So if you are somebody who is from an affluent background in Africa and you're coming to the UK, then you're not necessarily coming here to look for an opportunity that if you don't get, it's going to put you in a place where you're stagnant. However, if you're coming from a place where, it's not so great, then you're looking for an opportunity.
But then, in terms of percentage-wise, that the people that do come here, on the scale of, if we were to compare the ones who have something, as you put it, I don't think they will come here if they have something going on back home. I don't think a lot of people will come here. For instance, with some people that are coming here to study, this means most of the times the family have enough to support them. But the other person who, for economical reasons, come in here is somewhat different. And I think there's more people here based on economical reasons.
But then again, you see, if someone's coming here, like you said, to study, that's an opportunity, isn't it? So they're coming here for the opportunity that they didn't have wherever they're coming from. So that's also for economical reasons. But it's just how we class it. We just see as, oh, they're coming to study. When they finish studying, are they not going to gain money back where they've come from? So it's an indirect economic opportunity. At the same time, the people who are also coming here, who also come here thinking that it's an opportunity, sometimes don't. So, for example, I know of somebody personally who sold their business to come here because what happens is that people calculate the pound to the currency back home, and they realize that, well, if I come and work here for, I don't know, a year or two, they calculate how much money they think they're going to make. But what they are not told most of the time is what you have to go through to be able to work. So what I'm trying to say is that depending on your view of or where you're coming from, you may view it as an opportunity. Now, people who have been here, about 30, 40, 50 years, most of them see as a dead end because they've gone back home and they've seen that, their classmates, as they call it, have been able to kind of build a house or they've been able to sustain some kind of business. But also, the appearance of people who are about 60 or 70, say 50, 60, when you go compare someone back home who's 50 or 60 to someone who's here who is 50 or 60, there's a big deterioration. So it depends on what you're looking at, given the fact that we don't have many factors as to what the opportunities and dead ends are. But it's definitely both.
Okay. Mr. Ite, thank you very much for calling in. Mr. Ite also says is both. You can also do the same thing. You can call in. We'd like to hear from you, okay? The number to call on is, again, 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185 or text 0793-286-1328. Candy, it seems to, I think a lot of people are thinking that there's both. Mr. Ite also said that it depends where you're coming from.
I agree. I think it's both. I think also that it depends on what the goal is and where you're coming from. And I think people don't realize that even if you had grand ideas about coming to the UK, you're an African, especially if you're coming in as an adult and you sell your business. This is just an example. You sell your business, you come over here, and you realize that even if you got a job, which is not going to be that much of a job anyway, you have bills to pay. Where are you going to live? What are you going to eat? So the kind of money that you have been planning on getting, it just doesn't turn out that way. Also, the time span that you planned to live it just doesn't turn out that way. And we don't plan properly. I think we never, you see, there is when you say it, both I agree, because there's something he said which made me think about people who've been here 30, 40, 50 years. They have a pension. They will have a pension. And so even if they went back, even if you went to stay in your sister's house and you had a one room and blah, 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 you are more independent and more, you can live your life quietly with your pension than someone who lives in Ghana, has worked and done everything else, and then suddenly there's no income, So it depends on where you're at, what your goals are. And as we're speaking now, if anyone can change their way and maybe think deeply about what their situation is, rather than thinking it's a dead end, I think they should think of, how am I going to change my situation? Or how am I going to make the situation I'm in better for my future? Or what am I going to leave to my children?
Let's look at what Fred said. Fred said he drives a van.
Yes.
Also, he's got responsibilities. He's got family here, and he's also got family back home. With somebody with so much responsibilities, how does somebody like that living in the UK try and better themselves?
This question's to me.
Yes.
I think somebody like that, they've got to think very strategically, because obviously they have a lot of responsibility. If you got, essentially, he's feeding two families.
Yeah.
He described one here and one, one in the UK and one in Ghana. So, that's a tough job. So, as I said, it depends on. My advice to somebody that come in here would be that, what do you want to do? So, if he's looking at, he has children here and he has children in the UK. If he's looking at, okay, I want to get a career in a specific field to enable me to get enough money to maybe build a house back home or send my children to through education or whatever here, then obviously he needs to have thought about that strategically before he came here. You understand? Because...
But then, hold on. Okay, I take your point. Yeah. But then when some people come here, I think Fred actually said it. It took him a long time to get his... status in this country. So that in itself, that's another factor.
That's what I'm saying. So this is what I'm saying, is that when people come here, they need to think strategically about the whole. So I think a lot of the time it's just about money. Like your last caller said, they compare the pound to the cedi, and that is in that or the naira, and that's in their head. I'm gonna make more money than currently where I am. But you have to look at the whole picture, as in the cohesion, quality of life, how you regularize your status, because all these things even can cost. You know, I've come across people that are spending money with the Home Office trying to just get a legal stay here, you know, and this is money that they hadn't compensated for. So you really need to think about what your goal is before you come in, not just, okay, the currency's stronger, let me come here. No, it's not going to work like that.
Now, Ben has touched on something I wanted to talk about, the whole immigration aspect. We're talking about life here in the UK. You have people that still haven't got their right of abode in this country. You got somebody like that, or sometimes doing the odd jobs here and there, trying to survive. That's a dead end, isn't it?
Well, maybe they're doing that because there is.
Push it further. Would you advise such person to go back?
You can't, because it could bring implications. If it's a friend, it could break up the friend. Some people believe that you have to make sacrifices to get to where you want to be, and therefore, if the goal is to be here, and they don't have the papers and they're having immigration issues, and you say go, when they haven't got to their goal, it means you're not helping them.
But they're not helping themselves by living here illegally with all the stress that comes with it. We will talk more on that. We're going to take a quick break. Okay, when we come back, just get your thoughts together. have a bit of water to clear your throat. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. This is Talk Africa. We'll be right back.
I love social media. I am social media. So I've decided I'm going to hijack your screens for the next 60 minutes as we surf through your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and all of it. The key is to listen, engage, and build relationships. Social media is not just any media. It means fun and connecting to your favorite personalities online from any part of the globe. And when I say fun, I mean real fun. FNN Social. You might ask an artist to explain his art, or ask a poet to explain his poem, but it defeats the purpose. The meaning is only clear through the search. Painting is the silence of thought, the music of sight. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. If you could say it in words, there'll be no reason to paint.
Majority of you only pay attention to us after years of unremittent persistence and rejections, whilst we challenge the way it has always been done. We have made courageous decisions many of you wouldn't dare dream, forgetting you can live it when you dream it. Wake up with an idea. Research the egg out of the idea. Write a massive business plan. Raise money and create business. Wave goodbye to friends and families as your life is now your business. Stick with it, even on the bad days. Following your massive expansion into a worldwide domination, retire to your favorite highland or go back to step one and wash, rinse and repeat.
The CEO's Chair, showing on GNTV UK.
Welcome back to Talk Africa with me, Jones Awuah. As I've been saying, you can watch us live on GNTV, okay? On Freeview Vision TV. You can also watch us on Facebook Live. Just go on our page, GNTV UK. We're streaming live. Also, we're on radio, GN Radio, on Sky Channel 0185, DAB across UK, Eurobed and Astro TV across Europe, and also on TuneIn. There's no excuse. I think I'll keep repeating this. There's no excuse. If you just tune in to us, the topic we're discussing this morning is life in the UK for Africans. Okay, is it opportunity or dead end? We'd like to hear from you. You can call into the studio now. You can call us on 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to text us, it's 07932861328. Now, Candy, before we went on the break, you were making some comments before I cut you off.
Yeah, I was saying that you cannot. Your question to me was if somebody was going through all the suffering, didn't have enough papers, would I say to the person, why don't you just go back? It's very difficult because people have their own personal goals. And if you said, why don't you go back? They may think, I'm going through this, I'm suffering, but it's a sacrifice. So at the end of it, I will get my stay or I will get my immigration. Things will get better. So it's difficult, and you just don't know where to draw the line. This issue is, as Ben was saying earlier, people come here, it's an individual thing, and people come here with individual goals, individual ideas. If you came from, as Fred or someone said, one of the callers said, from an affluent family where you're just sent off to go and do your education and then you come back and you've got daddy's company or daddy has a friend or etc., you're fine. But it's the people who get stuck in the middle. And racism is real. And, in England, it's subtle. So it's not like America where they tell you they don't like you. So if you come to the UK, even though it looks like the people are decent and everything is fine, you will still not make, you will not get to where you want to go unless it's a hard slog. People do get somewhere, but it's a hard... Just like the guy who's driving the van. Yeah. And sometimes people do have education, and yet they don't make it. They don't get to, and their classmates who they went to law school with in their African country may be the Chief Justice, and you're working in the post office.
So, but then I think all of us agree that it is a bit above an opportunity. So with what you said there, is it really an opportunity? Just hold on to that thought. Let's take our next one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mariam. I'm calling from Colenda.
Okay, Mariam, let's hear you this morning. Life in the UK for Africans, opportunity or dead end?
I really don't know, but, sometimes it's not like an opportunity. People come in here, everybody look forward to them from back home. So whatever their plans are to go back and then upgrade themselves cannot succeed because they are looking back to the family back home as well. Putting that aside, I know somebody who came here to study law. Here in London people study, go in for high degrees, yet they do cleaning, they do taxi driving and all those things. This guy came to study law, and he went back to Ghana, and he was doing minicap. And they attached that to his name. That is our problem. Oh, he came from London, now he's driving a taxi, and they made that his name. This is an African mentality. Yet those things we are not doing back home. When we come here, we do it. So if we change that attitude, I think we will get somewhere.
Okay. Miriam, thank you very much for calling in. That's Miriam calling in to share her thoughts. You can also call in. The number to do so is 0203 735 8820 or 0203 286 0185. I think Marian has touched on something important here. I think I read earlier on from a text message that said some people come here with the right degrees. However, when they get here, things change for them. They cannot pursue what they want to study, but the way the system is here is totally different to what they used to. So therefore, they need to find other ways to make a living.
Yeah. And I think, we're talking about opportunity. Opportunity is basically that opportunity. There's an opportunity in anything, but it's how you go about it, to whether it becomes an opportunity or it becomes a dead end. This is why it's both, because technically this is an opportunity. If I'm somebody who wants to get my name out or something, then I have an opportunity to come on radio and do that. Do you know what I'm saying? But if I'm timid, I'm silent, nobody's going to know who I am. So there's really an opportunity in everything. If you leave Africa and go to another country, there's an opportunity there, but it's how you make the most of that. But if you're not prepared, as I said, and you haven't done your due diligence, then it can become a dead end.
I think we really need to look at it as things are right now, pertaining to us in the diaspora and also people that want to come here. If we look at the system that's put in place for you to come over here and through the right channels, is there really an opportunity?
Yeah, I think people can succeed. There's succession stories in everything. Even when challenges, even through tough times, people can succeed. So, like I said, there's an opportunity in everything. But even sometimes it's a bit of luck as well. Let's be frank. You might get a lucky break. You might meet someone who can put you on the course. They say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's kind of prevalent in a lot of countries, even here. There's a reason why there's a certain amount of class that occupy the top jobs in this country in a political level, because usually it's family upon family upon family upon family. That's why if I came, do you know what I mean? I don't know anybody. I'm not in that fraternity. So even if I'm qualified, my face doesn't fit, so to speak. So sometimes it's that as well, So this is why the question is such a wide question. It's a very interesting question.
And I want to ask you a personal one. You do speak to a lot of young professionals to go back. So why would you do that if there's opportunity here?
Because I just believe that there's a connection to be had with your country of origin. I just feel that as much as you're born here, for me and for my team, it's a duty. We believe it's a duty to help your country. If your parents come here to sacrifice to give you a better life here, then it's only right that with the skills and whatever you've acquired here, you go and help, your country of origin. That's what I believe. That's not to say there's no opportunity here, but I just believe it's a duty to do that.
Okay, let me take a few more messages. We've got this from Francis Portia on Facebook saying it's both. Well, a lot of people have said that. But we still want to hear real life experiences, so you can call in. The number is 0203 735 8820, 0203 286 0185. If you want to text us, it's 0793 286 1328. I'm getting a bit personal here, Candy. I'll ask a personal question yourself. Okay. Would you say that you've succeeded being here?
I wouldn't say I've succeeded, but I'm sure I would be in the same position if I was in Ghana. I haven't succeeded, but I have food to eat, I have somewhere to sleep, and my children are educating well, and et cetera. So
then, are we looking at the basic needs? Because a lot of people back home, if they want to come here, the basic needs such as food, where to put your head. I think because of the system that's in this country, kind of like provides that. Yeah. So maybe they look at it as coming here. It's a big opportunity.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you find out it depends. You see, this is why people are saying both. It depends on how, for some of us, maybe yes, I may have gone back because even my parents went back, etc., etc. However, then you get married, then you have children, and then you are in a different world. Now, when you talk about migration, you see, there is the immigration issue. Yeah. And then there is the issue where sometimes it's where you find yourself. And so you make, this is your home and you live it. Do you understand? And it becomes familiar because maybe you've been here longer than you've been, in Africa. But the issues are really black skin. I'll give you an anecdote. I used to work somewhere where one day one of the senior managers came up to me and said, "Oh, we're recruiting people for a job, and we've got these names here. Can you tell me, is this male or female?" First of all, she said, "Is this male or female?" And then she said, "And apart from that, what country is that person from?" So I looked at the name and it looked Nigerian to me, but I said, "I don't know." I mean, I knew it was a Nigerian name, but I said, "I don't know." She said, "Is it male or female?" I said, "I don't know, because the whole thing is not familiar to me."
Yeah.
She said, "But I thought you had an African background." I said, "Yes, I do." And she said, "But then you should." I said, "It's different countries." Now, this is a boss, a manager asking me this question. And so, they just bunch us all together. And you realize as you go along that these are people who, for us, you think education gives you a broader mind, etc., etc. But here, it is just honed into where they live and how they're getting on with their lives. And they don't really care they have no respect. Once you're black or you're African, it's a whole different ball game. Now, if you live amongst them and you can deal with it, that's fine, But if you're coming from outside, where you have a different accent, where your outlook is a little bit different, where you may be working with a lesbian, gay, or transsexual person, in this country, they mix and we get on with it. Coming from Africa, they're religious implications, there's social implications, there are all sorts of implications, and people are quite vocal about what they like and don't like. Now, you can't say that. I learned in growing up in this country that a person can smile with you and then go and say to someone, "I was really upset. Can you imagine what she said to me?" Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but these are nuances and things which people do not understand because it's a culture that is foreign to you.
Okay. I'd like to invite viewers again and listeners to call in. The number to do so is 0203-735-8820 or 0203-286-0185. If you want to send a text message, it's 0793-286-1328. If you're just tuning in to GN Radio or GN TV, this is Talk Africa. And the question today we're posing to our listeners and viewers is, life in the UK for Africans, is it opportunity or dead end? So do call in. We've had a few calls. Do call in. We'd like to hear from you. Let me take a few text messages and then we'll move on. This is from Andy. Andy's saying, "It leads to a dead end. One of my friends left in the UK after 10 years without getting his right to stay in the UK. So in the end, he ended up leaving to go back home." Okay. You did touch on you were saying it's difficult sometimes to tell people to go back. But here's a case where Andy's saying the friend
went.
Yeah, they've had enough and they've gone home. So surely if people are in such predicaments, it's possible to go back home and make something of yourself.
I know people who went back home, and I know this guy who he was here. He was an immigrant, although he was, he was not legal. He was illegal. Eventually, he was taken onto the plane by the immigration people and sent back. He then has made something of himself, and he's got a big business, and he's happy, and he's thankful that the British turfed him out. So there's good and bad stories everywhere. But it depends. That's why the majority of people will say it's both, because it depends on where you're standing in the spectrum.
Okay, all right. We've got a few minutes to go. Again, you can call in. The number to do so is 0203-735-8820, 0203-286-0185. I know a lot of people do listen to us this morning. Don't be shy. We'd like to hear real life experiences. Okay, if you want to text us, it's 0793-286-1328. Let me take another text message from here. Let's talk about. I think you touched upon it in terms of racism. Okay, so let's look at the whole discriminatory aspect of it. Already the stacks are against people, Africans here in the UK. You did mention the name. I mean, if I have a name that you cannot pronounce. Already that's against you.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that will stop Africans from trying to get to their goals, as you put it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough for even people that were born here. Just that you're born in your skin, so that comes with connotations. More or less that you've come from Africa. You know, you may not understand the culture exactly, your accent as well. I remember standing on a platform on London Underground, and one of the announcers had a thick Nigerian accent, and people were just laughing, literally in stitches. Like, he was saying the station name, like, stand behind the line. Like, you could understand, but the accent was so thick. And people were just laughing, do you know what I mean? So you got to be prepared to deal with all of that, you know. And like Kiki said, you know, there's cultural shift. There's certain norms, you know, that are not the same. And you have to be able to deal with that as well, you know. So,
but Kiki, we spoke about the Chinese, we spoke about the Asians. When it comes to Africans, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to Africans especially, we don't seem to see that whole togetherness when we find ourselves in the diaspora.
I think we are slowly coming round. If you go on Facebook, you see people's party photos, you know, groups they have got. There's this quo and that quo and this association. Yeah. It's all coming together. It's just, you know, it's difficult and there are little political issues within it. Yeah. But I think we're coming together. And one of the things that I know since I was a child was Ghanaians are very proud to be Ghanaians. There's a lot of pride in a lot of things that we do in our football, and you know, so
that's one aspect we haven't touched on. There's been a lot of successful footballers who've come here and made a name for themselves as well.
Yeah, and every time the Black Stars are playing, we feel so proud. We forget, you know.
We didn't qualify this time.
No, you know. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. So, and we're proud of our kente, and we're proud of so many things. You know, our culture is very rich. And so, even though people want to make good of themselves and travel and go and struggle and everything, it is a good thing to be a Ghanaian, I'm telling you, and as Nigerians as well, you know. So I think with time, it's taking a long time though, and you know,
but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Well, you know, this is a live transmission, and in some cases, certain things do happen. I know a few people probably see me wiping my face. It's kind of but this is live. Okay, so this is how we do it.
There's nothing happening.
It's nothing.
Just quickly, just to add to what Kiki said, in terms of like, you know, we are getting there. It's not maybe not as fast as we would have liked. But one area that I would stress that I think that
Ben, just come closer to your mic, please.
One area that I stress that I don't think we could improve on is in terms of when we coming together is the financial aspect.
Yeah.
I think that is very touchy because even when, you know, I run a charity, as much as how transparent you are, asking Ghanaians or Africans for charity, for money it's a difficult thing. And I think although we mobilize through associations and we come together for our culture, and when one another are attacked, our culture is attacked, we really rally behind each other. Yeah. But when it comes to building up financially, we're not there yet. And this is something like the Chinese and the Asians, they do. Like I've been to like associations where people are giving donations.
Yeah.
Goes up because they feel like they're buying into something. Yeah. You go to an association, they're not going to give you instant. Yeah, it's difficult.
Tight-fisted.
Yeah, and you know, I think we need to build out. People are talking about black banks and all the racism going on, building up our own companies.
Yeah.
These things takes money. I know that certain instances it's about trust as well, because you know we will all say we're proud and
I trust you to forgive me to cut in, but
no problem.
I ran out of time.
No problem.
I'd like to say a big thank you to my guest in the studio today, Ben Enim Entry, who's the Director of Communications for Free Ghana, Candy Kisei, who is a radio host here at GN Radio. Don't forget to tune in for her show every Wednesdays here on GN Radio. And as always, a big thank you to our listeners and our viewers, people that called in, the ones that couldn't call in. Thank you for listening. this is it. We'll pause here. Thank you again for listening. We'll catch you again. Same time, same place next week, Monday. Bye for now.
This program is brought to you by Pay Global.